What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back. Today, I'm going to show y'all a few of my other collections since y'all seem to like the Penguin Classic collection. Let's go. Favorite reader, that's who you are. Traveling near, traveling far. Through every chapter, you're the star. Favorite reader, that's who you are. Okay, so let's just get into it. I have a few different ones I'm going to do today. We're going to start with the ones that I just pulled off of the shelf in the living room. I have a few in there I need to grab and then some on the shelves behind me. So first we're starting off with the Harvard Classics. I only have 3 of these right now. Let me see if y'all can see it. Let me get my head out the way. So yeah, I actually got these from the library. The first one I have is Marlowe and Shakespeare. Everybody knows who Shakespeare is. I wish more people knew who Marlowe was, but he's also a poet in that same vein of Shakespeare, Johnson, Spencer, Marlowe. So yeah, I like these. They're like obviously older. You can even tell from like the font and the pages and the ink, but still I like it. So yeah, it only has one poem in here for Marlowe. That's Edward II. And then it has Hamlet, King Lear, and Macbeth and The Tempest by Shakespeare. So yeah. I like classic poetry. Anyways, the next one we have is Cervantes. Yeah. And if you don't know who he is, he's an author that pretty much writes parodies of certain romances, but very good writing. Most people know him by Don Quixote, but yeah, that's that. I just like, one, I like how durable these are. Like, these made, like, this was on your grandma's shelf. My grandma wasn't reading Shakespeare and stuff, but I mean these types of books. Like, this is that what the church hymns used to be in, durable, you know? And then next we have Dana. Yeah, Dana, he actually used to be a lawyer and then he became a writer, but these just feel so like presidential. I feel like these need to be in somebody's like that classic library, that dark library, that, you know, that gothic type library. That's what these are. Then they're that deep green with the gold foil, like, and they look good together on the shelf. So that's the first. I only have 3 of these. I do want to get more. I don't run across these a lot in person. I could buy them online, but I just haven't. So yeah, that's the first 3. Ooh, these was up high. Y'all had to climb on the ladder to get these. Okay. This next group, these are the Library of America books. And I'm hoping, I don't think I'm going to be able to get these all. These are the first 3. And then, this is a mess, y'all. Hold up. You know what? Okay, here's the rest. I'm gonna have to do these, obviously, in batches. Whew. Let me start with the ones I haven't read. They're still plastic wrapped. Need to catch my breath. Okay, these are the ones I have not read. All of these are still in the plastic wrap. I like these because I like the binding. I like that they have a linen cover. They're also durable. I actually really like the font on these. Man, I'm tired. Okay. Okay, so the first one is Wendell Berry. So we have Port William novels and stories. He writes short stories and novels. You can kind of see him. Yeah, they all come in this like nice cardboard wrapper. Then we have John Quincy Adams, some of his speeches and writings. Again, it's just nothing on this side. You can see. I like the coloration is nice. That green with the maroon and then the brown. And then we have American Earth. These are environmental writings since Thoreau. And then we have Ursula K. Le Guin. So yeah, I have not read these. They still plastic wrapped. So that's those. Okay. I'm trying to find a proper place to put these so I'm not making a mess. Yeah. Okay. These are the ones I have read. Okay, let's start. I'm gonna start up top. This is African American poetry, and now that it's not plastic wrapped, I can show you like what it looks like. Like I said, they come in this cardboard cover, but the book itself is a linen wrapped. Way more modern than the other ones. You could tell by the color of the paper, by the font type, by the ink. Yeah. They have biographical notes. So some of the authors that's in here. Library of America, a nonprofit organization, champions our nation's cultural heritage by publishing America's greatest writing in authoritative new editions and providing resources for readers to explore this rich living legacy. This includes people like Phyllis Wheatley, Jupiter Hammond, Lucy Terry, Benjamin Banneker, George Moses Horton, James M. Whitfield, Benjamin Clark. Who else? Trying to name people that everybody know. W.E.B. Du Bois, Alice Dunbar Nelson. Yeah. Sterling A. Brown. Claude McKay. So yeah, this is actually the first one that I read, and I'm going to probably reread this in like a series that I'm doing, so y'all will get like a more in-depth opinion. Look at me, can't even get it in here. But yeah, that's that. Then these three go hand in hand, okay? These three are Steinbeck. So the first one is The Grapes of Wrath and Other Writings from 1936 to 1941. Then we have Steinbeck Novels and Stories from 1932 to 1937. And then Steinbeck Novels from 1942 to 1952. So I'm hoping that this is focusing y'all. So yeah, I have been rereading Steinbeck as of like the past 2 years. I think the next one, I'm either going to read The Pearl next or The Grapes of Wrath again, which I read The Grapes of Wrath before. Like I said, I'm rereading them. So yeah, those are the Library of America. Again, I like that it comes in those wrappers, but I actually just like it's a more modern look compared to the Harvard Classics. The paper is a little more modern, the font, the ink, everything. And that nice linen look. It just looks so clean. Okay, so those are the Library of America books. Let me drop them down. Let me go get what I want to do next. Let's see, y'all. Let's see. We'll do the Oxford Classics next. I'm going to keep that open since we're doing the Oxford Classics. Okay, so we're going to do the Oxford Classics next. Hold on, let me split these into two. That would be so much easier. Okay. Start with the biggest one here. That is the Bible, the authorized King James Version with Apocrypha. Let's see. I actually like this. I like the notes that they include. I like the introductions that they include. I like how it's laid out. I got so many of these pages folded. how it's laid out. This is like not my favorite Bible, but it has some good stuff. It has great introductions, good notes. I don't own many King James versions. This one and one more. One more? Maybe two. One or two more, but for what this is, I enjoyed it. I liked it. It's in a small, compact size. So yeah. Okay. Next we have Booker T. Washington, Up from Slavery. I read this high school. I don't know, sometime, but I'm going to be rereading this with my oldest son soon. So, yeah. I actually have another copy of this that's not an Oxford Classics edition. I got another one too. So he'll be reading one and I'll be reading the other. Then I have W.E.B. Du Bois, The Souls of Black Folks. It's been years since I read this. I'm thinking about rereading this right after I reread Up from Slavery. And I'll probably come here and talk about those two when I read them. This was published in 1903. Okay, next we have Plato Gorgias. I've heard people call this Gorgeous, but I think it's Gorgias. I don't know. That's what it is. I've thought my phone's ringing. I've read this. When did I read this? High school, I know, but I feel like I read this after high school too. And I've had this copy. It's been beat up. I don't know if y'all can tell. The pages, everything about this just been through the ringer because I've had it for years. And not just that, I have mistreated it for years. So maybe I'll reread this soon. Not soon. I don't know when I'll reread it, but I do kind of want to go through and take another deep dive into Plato. I don't know when, but I enjoyed it when I did read it. I think this is one of his most widely read ones, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. Okay. This is a book that I DNF'd. I don't know when I'll get back to it. That's Middlemarch by George Eliot. I've heard great things about this. I mean, amazing things. And I just was not feeling it. Did I mark where I got to? I got to pay. No, that's not what that is. No, I didn't mark where I got to, but heard great things. I wasn't feeling it. This kind of talks about social change, everyday life. Has a lot of philosophical elements going on, which typically, I'm cool with. But I don't know what it was. Maybe the time I read it or what. Maybe I'll get back to it. I can't be sure when. Then we have Plato Republic. At some point, I'll get back to Plato. I've read all of Gorgias and only a portion of Republic. So I haven't read this whole thing. So maybe I will. Who knows? But these include an introduction, a textual note, bibliography, explanatory notes, an appendix, and an index. Okay, and my last Oxford classic is Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. I have not read this. And I don't even want to say it's been on my TBR for a long time. I've known what it is for a long time, but I've never told myself, okay, I'm gonna read it. Okay, it's time to read it. Maybe this will be the year, but probably not. I want to read it. That's why I have it, but I haven't wanted to read it so much that I've prioritized it. So that's the last Oxford World's Classic. That's it for this bunch. I'm going to put this back. And I'm going to go get the other one. Hold on. Hold up. I have a few Penguin Centennial editions. So let's go over these. All Steinbeck. Penguin Centennial edition. I have Of Mice and Men, Of Grapes and Wrath, The Pearl, and Canary Row. I think I'm either going to read Grapes of Wrath or The Pearl next. I'm not sure which one I'm feeling that I'm leaning more towards. To be continued. So we'll see. These, they have the decal edges. Let me pull one up so you can see. So first you can kind of see the front. They all look like that. This one has like a maroon type color. This one's got like a, y'all hear that? A muted purple. Let me let my kids in. Hold on. This one has like a green. And then this one has like a deeper olive green. So yeah. But like I said, they have decal edges. I'm hoping that y'all can kind of see that. You know, nice modern font. Everything looks good. The inside pages are folded on both sides. So yeah, I like it. Feel good. They nice and smooth to the touch. And they look good. Again, all of these look good on the shelves. Look, they all have like different icons on the spine. Yeah, looks good. Okay. I only got a couple of these, so let's just do these two. I feel like I have another one. I feel like I honestly feel like I have another one. Maybe I don't. So, is that really it? I do. I do. Let me get off my desk. I knew I had another one. Okay. So, I have 4 Barnes and Noble classics. Okay. The one that I just pulled off my desk is because I'm reading it next. I'm actually going to start reading this tonight. That's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Other Stories. So, y'all will see this on the video coming up. But yeah, they got nice introduction notes. And another thing on the back of their pages, I don't know if you can see. Hopefully you can. They have like authors' names. So I thought that was cool. Yeah. They have something at the end for further reading. I appreciate that. They have comments and questions at the end. I appreciate that. So if you want to use these just for deeper thinking or for a book club discussion, they always have really good introductions. I appreciate that. So yeah, this I'll read soon. I'm starting it tonight. It'll be on the video at some point. So I'm going to sit that up there. That's why I wasn't on the shelf. And then I have 3 more. So I read this one, Dante, years ago. Will I reread these? I have another copy of this too. Like my original copy that I used to own way back in is up on the shelf over there. Will I read this again soon? Maybe. Yes. I don't know when. 99.999% sure it won't be 2026. But I do want to get back to it again because I did enjoy it. I just want to kind of look at it from my eyes now. This I got as a gift from my youngest son. Y'all see that price tag? He had some money and wanted to get me a Mother's Day gift one year. My baby spent $2 on this. Okay. He got me Vanity Fair. I haven't read it yet. Oh, and a little note. I forgot he put me a note. Sincerely. So yeah, that's super cute. But yeah, I will get to this at some point. I don't know when. I actually never even heard of it until he got it for me. So yeah. And then lastly, I have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I have never read Wuthering Heights ever. It's one of those things where it's kind of like Great Expectations by Dickens. I say I want to read it, and I do, but I've never prioritized it. The same way I've never prioritized Dickens. So, like, I do want to read it, but when? That's the question. I'll put these back and then grab another set. Or, you know what? I'm going to do 2 more sets and then call it a day. Let me second, we're going to do NYRB. Okay, next we are going to do NYRB classics. I'm going to try my best to balance it. After this, I only have one more group that I want to go over. If this fall, I'll be so mad. Okay. I'm going to kind of rapid fire these because I've only read about half of these. First of all, the covers of these are gorgeous. So, got Totem Pole with the lime green spine. Okay, then we have Seasons of Migration to the North. Then we have The Wedding of Zine. Wedding of Zine. Then we have The Invention of Morale or Moral. The red. Then we have The Door. It's all gray. Then we have Pinocchio. The brown. Trying to figure out a good place to sit these. Okay. Ernesto. Then we have The Radiance of the King. I like this contrast, that dark navy blue with the red spine and back. And that kind of lime green for the author's name. I like that. Then we have The Farm in the Green Mountains. I actually haven't read half of these. I might have read a third of these. I don't know. I've never read this, but I like the lime green. Generations by Lucille Clifton. This is on my list to read soon. When? In a month or two. I can't remember exactly where. So I'm going to leave this on my desk because it's a soon to be read. The Stone Face. The gray. Butcher's Crossing. Augustus. Renor My Father. I like this too. Dang, I ain't even bother to undog it is. I read this a while ago. I think I'm going to reread this mainly because I want to talk about it on this channel. And I remember what it's about, and I remember thinking like, oh yeah, I like this, but I wasn't like super into it at that time. And I just think I was just kind of like, I read it at a bad point in life. I need to reread this and give it another go. Then we have Living by Henry Green. I like this cover. Yeah. Then we have Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont. Peach Blossom Paradise. I really like this cover. Really like that cover. People of the City. Like this too. With the yellow back. That's cute. And then lastly, we have The Simple Past. I like this contrast too. Then it's got the back. So it's cute. Okay. So those are the NYRB classics. One more group and then we're going to call it a day. Call it a day. Hold on. Let's see. Now, I don't know if y'all remember. If you've been here for a minute, then you do know. I'm not the biggest fan of short stories. They're okay. It's not that I don't like them. They're just like, I never read a short story that I was like, man, I don't know. I'm just not the biggest short story fan, but I do read them. And I like to read them, especially from authors I don't know, so I can kind of get like a taste test. And so these are actually the best American short story collections by Houghton Mifflin Company. Let me see. Okay. So do I have these in order? The opposite way. So I'm going to go in order. First, I have the 1990 edition. This includes, and these, I haven't read any of these all the way through. I've like chosen, cherry picked the ones I wanted to read. So out of this one, I've read, which one? Mr. Morning. I did read that. Nothing to Ask For by Dennis McFarland. I read that. You're Ugly Too by Lori Moore. Read that. Is that it? I read Commuter Marriage by Joan Wickersham. And that's it out of this one. Yeah, so that's the 1990 edition. And then, let me go in order. I have the 2003 edition. The editor of this is actually Walter Mosley. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Who did I read? What did I read out of this? None of those. I read an introduction because it was by Walter Mosley. Did I read any of these? Oh, yeah, I read Night Talkers by Edwidge Danticat. Did I read? I did not. I only read one out of here, and the introduction by Walter Mosley. Then we have the 2005 edition. I'm liking it's yellow. The editor is Michael Chabon. Okay, what did I read out of here? His introduction. I read the introduction of all of them. What did I read? Joy Williams, The Girls. I read that. I read Old Boys, Old Girls by Edward P. Jones. I read The Cousins by Joyce Carol Oates. I read Natasha by David. And that's it out of this one. Okay. Then I had the 2008. Which ones did I read? And they actually made the Best American Comics, the Best American Essays, Best American Mystery Stories, the Best American Non-Required Reading, the Best American Spiritual Writing, the Best American Sports Writing, and the Best American Travel Writing. I read the introduction. What else did I read? T.C. Bull, Admiral. I read that. I read Virgins by Danielle Evans. Maybe Be Forgiven by A.M. Holmes. Child's Play by Alice Munro. Puppy by George Saunders. And Missionaries by Bradford Tice. And then the 2012. What did I read out of here outside the introduction? Roxanne Gay, North Country. I read that. Paramore by Jennifer Hay. I read that. The Sex Lives of African Girls. I read that. And Eminem World by Kate Wahlberg. I read that. Okay, and then lastly, out of this, we have 2018, edited by Roxanne Gay. I read her intro. And then what else? Is this the one I read all of? Cougar. Yeah, I knew one of these. I read most of them. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. River Solomon's, as well. Yeah, I read all but 2 of these. I need to just read those 2 so I can be done with it. And maybe when I do read those, I'll come here and talk about the whole thing, which one of the short stories was my favorite. But yeah, that's it for that. They all just look so good together on the shelf. That's all I'm going to do for today, y'all. Maybe I'll come back. It's kind of harder to do. Like somebody asked me, could I show all of my Black classics? I could. It takes a little more though, because first of all, they spread out all over the house. In the case of this video, I only had 2 collections like outside of this room. I could, but I got to do a little more planning. And they don't all look alike. It'll just be, I could do a video of going over like Black classics. I just need to plan ahead for that because I gotta kind of get them all together. But yeah, that's it for today, y'all. Let me know if you do want that like black classics. I could do it. It's gonna take me a little minute because I need the time to do it, but I'm very willing and I will do it if y'all want me to do it. Okay? Let me know if you have any of these classics, if you collect other editions. Yeah, and that's it, y'all. I'm gonna see you on the next one.
Pages turning soft as silk, stories flowing like warm milk. A journey starts with every line, worlds unfold.